Hello traders, how are you doing guys? I hope you all had a great trading week last week. Um, yeah, as this session is not announced even beforehand, I think we need to give it a couple of minutes and giving people time to join. So why not you say hi in the chat room, let us know who is us live. Hello, Liam, Merrick, Philippe, Abdul Qadir. Hi, welcome to this live session. As you may hear, guys, my voice today is pretty harsh. I think it's the Scotch whiskey voice from last night. But yeah, I think we're gonna manage and do a session anyway. Yeah, how trading been going, guys? I know that Liam in my trading room been doing great. Merrick, you're also in the room, but no idea how your trading week went. Yeah, and all the dancing. I danced a lot yesterday, but you didn't have the chance to see me on video. You'll never do. As usual, guys, do not forget to hit the like button, yeah? And if you're new to this channel, do not forget to subscribe. I've been looking at the charts earlier today, and pretty interesting, but it's so the last couple of months is nothing is trending, going sideways on most of the charts. So I think, guys, you need to adapt to that and start thinking about your take profit levels and stuff like that. Do not have very wide take profits, because most of the market been going sideways and been rough trading for many traders actually. Talking to a couple of professional traders that I know, and all of them been saying the same thing. It is not easy. So if some of you having a bit hard time trading the market, especially the Forex market, you are not the only one out there having issues. Yes, so we've been waiting for like 10 minutes and better to go for it, so you don't sit here the whole Sunday listening to my bad voice today. As usual, we will start with the news calendar and see what we have for the next week to look for. So once again, welcome to this session, guys, as usual, the weekly market overview with some trade ideas and some amazing structure trading ideas. I think these videos are very helpful to learn new stuff, not only getting trade ideas. So they should give you some help on the way in your trading and the way how you should be looking at the charts. So looking at the news event, we have monetary policy meeting minutes from Aussie on Tuesday, average earning index for the sterling. It's an important one to keep an eye at, but as usual for sterling, all we need to look at right now is the Brexit headline. No one seems to giving a damn about the economics in the UK. It's all about Brexit. Wednesday, FOMC meeting minutes, and Thursday, important number for the Aussie, employment and unemployment change. Those used to move the Aussie pretty well if it is a surprise numbers. And yeah, lots of more core retail sales and stuff like that from the CAD on Friday. ECB Draghi, we need to listen to that on Friday. And both Polos and Louis Low, I don't know how to pronounce that, will have a speech on Thursday. Yeah, that is out of the way. Let's start by looking at the Dixie as usual. We started the week pretty nicely, strong dollar after, and the week before was also very strong. And the expectations I had that we're gonna reach the monthly R2 and test previous highs, yeah, on the Dixie. We didn't do that. We ended up with a inverted hammer, a bullish one. But yet again, you see how that 97 seems to be important level. We went back and closed below it on Friday. So after like 7 days in a row bullish, we got one correction, another strong day to get Thursday and Friday back down. The question is, are we going to get this correction? I'm still bullish on the dollar longer term, but I will absolutely give it the time to make some correction after this move, maybe toward 96.50 at the first possible area to look for. Let me take off these weekly pivots. They are for last week, so we don't need them on the chart right now. So as I said, I'm bullish longer term on the dollar. I still think that the dollar may break above this here, above this high, and continue a bit more to the upside. But of course, it needs to maybe make some corrections. So as first, we will be looking at the 96.50, which is the retest of this neckline. And if that failed to hold, then the next area to look for is the 96 down here, yeah. We do have some fib levels also to keep an eye at on the way down. As you see, both of them happen to be at a good level. So the 38.2 is around the first level where we have the neckline. The 618 is down here where we had support previously as well, around the 96 area. So that is also a good level to keep an eye at. We go to lower time frame. We see that on the 4 hour last Friday, we just broke this trend line after the retest of this 97.40. It looked pretty nice and going to the upside, but the signs was already here. And in our trading room, I told the guys that if we saw a break below that daily pivot point at the time, it was here on Friday, to maybe expect a deeper correction, normal Friday's reversal on the dollar, and that what we got last Friday. So as I said earlier, we should maybe give the dollar some time to correct some of this move, but longer term, my anticipation is that the dollar bullish move will continue. Gold broke out of the neckline. This area was an important resistance that we've been mentioning for a while. Now we broke back above it, and we seems like we're going to test that 1325 or 26 level up here, coming from this high. Previous time when we tested that area, we've got rejected back down, but it wasn't a very deep push, so we got a double bottom. We broke the neckline, and seems like gold may have some more to the continuation to the upside if we break that 1326 here. So on 4 hour time frame, we broke the neckline right now. Market objective should be to reach this 1326, and maybe when and if that happened, we should start looking for a possible correction, maybe to retest this broken neckline around the 1315 down here before the next move. But the look of it seems like we may get a breakout, and I will still looking for that breakout as far as this support down here is holding. As soon as we leave this trend line, this one here, if we break below it, let's say that this does not happen, that the support will hold on the move to retest of the neckline, I'm not gonna short gold until I see a strong break below the trend line and below this previous structure around the 1300. That need to be broken first to then start thinking of a deeper correction. So as first, look for possible maybe some more upside on gold, and maybe a breakout before the deeper correction. Oil still looking pretty strong. Last week we just closed above previous high, so this 55.50 got broken, which was an important resistance. Looking left here, you see that this area was a pretty strong support and resistance level that we keep an eye at. And yeah, Friday was another push to the upside, just broke slightly above previous high, and I think if the price start consolidating here above in this level, so we may see some more upside on oil. I don't know why TradingView is going crazy. All the lines keep moving around on the charts last week and today. So oil, if we hold and start get accepted in this level here, there is a possible continuation on this one, maybe toward monthly R2 as well, which is an interesting area up here, or around the 618 where we have this neckline up here. Yeah, so first off, if we hold this level, market objective is to reach this area. Second level is around the monthly R2 and around the 200 daily moving average, so keep an eye on that. We want to see this holding. If we go back inside below the yearly pivot point of 2019, that could mean that we may keep consolidating inside this range down here. Yeah, so keep an eye on that as well. If that break happens back to the downside, that may be the scenario. So the next is Euro USD. And what I'm looking at here is this pretty strong support level that actually got broken. We tested even lower on Friday. The market was trying to test the last line of defense here. It is still, we are still inside this range here, but more and more it looks like we may break below, but there is no need to guess that. In my opinion, this is the last line of defense, and if that got broken, then we have much more room to the downside, as you see. So keep an eye on this last line down here. But since we said the dollar may correct some to the downside on the Dixie, that could mean or should mean that euro may correct to the upside. First trouble level is very close here, which is the monthly S1. So for the euro to really correct to the upside, we want to see a break above this neckline of this double bottom or triple bottom, whatever you want to call it. But we want to need a breakout above the neckline to then test this area up here. Anything above that, that will open the door that we may start moving back to the upside, continuing this consolidation we've been having for a while. Otherwise, we could keep going sideways here. I think I'm not shorting this market here right now. We have too much going on. We have support down here. We have another support down here. You maybe could find some intraday trade, absolutely, but if we talk about the longer term move, and if really the euro to start trending to the downside, we want to see this level here taken out. Anything before that could give us some short-term trades. So short-term, we want to see this here broken to then maybe move to test these highs up here. But still, this is the major high that need to be broken for more upside. Yeah, but first off, keep an eye on this break above the neckline first to see if we're gonna hold above it to then test the highs. Yeah, I am actually bearish on euro, but again, since we are at an area of possible support and the next level is pretty close to it, what I see so far here is short-term trades only until we break below this level. That is when I will start really thinking of going short for an even longer time. Sterling USD also still in this bearish leg. On Friday we've got a nice bullish engulfing after testing this support area here. Looking left, we see that the level that got tested, being tested many times as support and resistance. Here was the low the week after the Brexit push. This was the low, then it was resistant and support many times. So it is a pretty important level, and it wasn't a shock to see a bounce from this level here. I think still could be considered bearish, and on the 4 hour we still have our lower lows and lower highs going here. There's no major higher lower high that got broken yet to say that we do have a possible reversal. We should keep an eye on this structure here. This level here could give trouble for sterling USD. Monthly pivot point, previous structure tested as both support and resistance, the 200 moving average on the 4 hour at this level. So keep an eye for a possible another bounce to the downside to this level. If we breaks below this, then of course that will open the door for more downside. Otherwise this gonna act as support firstly. So these are the two key levels we have for next week. A break above here could mean that we're gonna move for another leg to the upside. But as first, see it as resistance, look for bearish evidence in this area. If that happens, that could mean that you have a trigger for another push to the downside. Hello Manu Ramoon, great analytics. Can I please ask you what is your win-loss percentage? I average between 55 and 60. Most of the time 55 I would say. USD JPY, I'm still bullish on this one. But even this one need maybe some correction. As you see, we tested the 200 moving average on Thursday. Almost before then start moving lower, and that was the monthly R1 and the 111 that we've been mentioning, that it is an important area. I sent this update in our trading room that we reached monthly R2, time to monthly R1, time to take profit and maybe take a short. So I sold monthly R1 out of the trade now on previous lows. And I think there is another leg to the downside before the next move. So I still think UJ may give us another push down here to really test this 110 before the next move to the upside. So my anticipation for this one is still as this idea I published it here on Trading View. Where was it? It was this one here. That after we broke this to look for a retest, we didn't really get a retest, but now it's maybe happening. So keep an eye at the 110 as a possible first support level to look for a continuation on UJ. For more upside, of course, we need to break above the 111 first. USD CAD also tested previous highs, the 200 moving average on the 4 hour acting as resistance. But if we look at the daily here, we see that we had a very strong push to the upside, a higher low, and there was an attempt of continuation that failed on Friday, since we've got dollar weakness and we've got very strong oil that helped absolutely USD CAD. Now, I think this could make a correction, continue this correction. If you're holding a short on USD CAD, you should keep holding that until we reach this support level that may give us a bounce. Looking left here, it is a pretty interesting area that been tested many times as support and resistance. So this 13,200 or 1.32 I should say, it is a pretty important level to look for a possible bounce, maybe another retest to monthly pivot point or previous high. look for some bullish evidence at this level, and if you've got those bullish evidence, then you may take along back to the highs on USD CAD. Aussie USD also look pretty strong on Friday last week. We broke above previous highs. We just about to test, or we tested the 200 moving average. Even this one on the daily looks like there is room for more upside. We just broke above previous high even on the daily on this market, and I think the market objective could be to move all the way to test this area up here on this market. If we keep getting those good headlines about trade war with China and stuff like that, Aussie will keep being strong, because China is very important for the Australian dollar. So if China doing well, Australian dollar will keep pushing to the upside. So what I'm looking for here, maybe a retest toward this structure up here, this level, to be tested, to then maybe give us some kind of correction or retest of the neckline, and then a continuation. But all in all, I think the market objective here is to keep pushing higher, especially if we keep getting good headlines about the trade war. USD Chief, time for possible reversal here. It's building up now for that reversal. I think on the daily or the weekly, you see that we tested a major resistance level up here, so of course we should start looking for possible reversal. On the daily, we have bearish engulfing on Thursday. Friday was an attempt to continue higher, but it failed, and we've got a inverted hammer up here, which is also a reversal signal. And on the 4-hour, we've got this range that we've been trading in our trading room, buying the low, selling the high. But now the last high was a bit lower, showing possible pressure. So my anticipation that this may start correcting to the downside. First trouble gonna be the previous lows, but if broken, then that would continue to next structure level down here. So there is a possible reversal on this market. Keep an eye on this previous low here at the body of this inverted hammer here. And if that got broken, then that will open the door for more downside. Still, this could continue higher, but let it do this correction first if it happens. New Zealand USD also testing an interesting level where we have the yearly pivot point and previous structure, as you see. And those lines on trading view keep moving in the screen, as you see, but it is a interesting level that got tested. I shorted that on Friday, but there was no momentum to the downside, so I closed the trade now in loss, like 15 pips or so, because it wasn't a good idea to hold it over the weekend. It didn't move much. And the reason was that we had this divergence on the RSI and on the 4-hour when we'd be testing yearly pivot point divergence, but then there was no continuation. It kept pushing higher, and on the 1-hour we also have this bearish divergence going on the RSI as well. So let's see how the market will open later tonight, and maybe if we break back below yearly pivot point, that will give us a chance for another retest of the monthly pivot point. The other scenario is that we retest that and we start moving higher, and if that happens, that could mean that we're going all the way to test previous highs on this market. But if Aussie keep pushing higher, and the expectation is the Aussie may do so, then usually New Zealand follows Aussie as well. So Aussie is the leading indicator here. If the Aussie breaks and keep pushing higher, then this may follow as well. New Zealand CAD, on the other hand, is showing stronger signal of reversal here. As you see, the New Zealand CAD tested previous structure of resistance, previous structure support. It is a pretty interesting area that got tested, and on the 4-hour we've got a retest here, a double top. We had this divergence here between this high and this high, which is on the price looking like this. So it is not the best one, but still interesting level, NFP high. I think this, after such a huge move to the upside, could do with some correction down before any continuation to the upside. So on the 1 hour here, we could start looking for some kind of break out of this range and maybe see this move toward previous lows here. The neckline, the 200 moving average, and even the yearly pivot point is down here on this, in this area. So look for possible, if we got another retest and bearish signal, then that would be even better to try to short it from all the way up here, or a break below range and then to give you this deeper correction before the continuation. I think there is a possibility for that till next week. Aussie CAD also looking the same as Aussie USD, rounded bottom. We back in the upper range here once again. So when we broke this, we said to sell this retest, but we did the sell, but there was no continuation, no new lows. Instead, we start getting higher lows. So this rounded bottom here saying me that we may make another push to the top of this range. So I want to see this market keep holding this area, maybe giving us some kind of consolidation to then see if we're gonna break out of that. That would mean a retest of the highs of this lower range. And Aussie JPY also still sideways. I think there is nothing more here than this sideways move. We are in the mid range, so I would say you either look to sell the highs or wait for a retest for the bottom to buy down here. From this area, it could go either direction. So there is no need to get stuck in a trade which is a mid-range trade. If we got a very strong signal here, like a daily close, a strong daily close to the downside, then there is possibly a trade to go short toward the bottom of the range. Otherwise, leave it until it reaches the edges of the range and then trade it. Euro Aussie continuation to the downside. I think this market have an objective to reach previous lows, at least here for next week. So keep shorting rallies on this market. Any retest toward this structure up here could be a level to look for that short. If you are not already in a short, you could start looking at this level for a continuation. I think the market objective is to reach these lows now after breaking previous low as well. And on the daily, you could see it more clearly. There is nothing looking left until we reach this last line of defense. So keep shorting rallies on lower time frame. 1 hour maybe is the time frame to go for on this market. The same for Euro New Zealand. We did test this last line of defense, but we just broke below major structure. So I don't think the bears did break this whole structure just to get paid at this level. I still think there is more room to the downside toward monthly S1, or maybe toward the lows down here at this area, which is a key support level. So even on Euro New Zealand, we should keep looking to sell rallies. Last week we said a break should mean a retest and continuation, and we've got that. So now we should be looking for any kind of rallies back to retest these previous structures to look for another leg to the downside on this market. And euro sterling back now at the bottom of this range. We had a very nice strong push to the upside, which was a fake out. And I think the market objective is to at least reach the bottom of this box. Anything below that, that could mean another push to test even lower. As you see here on the daily, we tested 50% of this whole move was at this level, previous structure. So the market did that correction all the way, 50%, tested previous structure, bearish engulfing on Friday, and should be a market objective to reach these lows. Any break below that could mean the continuation of the move. So keep playing this box. As soon as we break below it and hold below it, you will start looking for retest to keep shorting this market. Zafar is asking, what entry signal do you wait for before entering a trade? That is many things we look for, Zafar, sorry. It depends on what time frame I'm trading. If it is a let's say I'm trading the 15-minute time frame, then I would look for some kind of double tops maybe, or a even better, a head and shoulder to happen on that time frame. If it is the higher time frame, let's say the 4-hour time frame, a bearish engulfing or bullish engulfing would be enough for me to enter if it happens at the right level. If we look at, for an example, on this trade here, we had the break of previous structure, which is the most important thing. I want to see a break of structure. Then on the retest, you see this black candle on the 4-hour, that was a bearish engulfing, so that would be my trigger. Yeah, so it totally depends on what time frame. On lower time frame, the 15-minute, that would not be enough for me. I would look for a bigger a signal as double tops, as I said, or head and shoulder or something like that. Yeah, to give me more confidence in the trade. I hope that answered your question, Zafar. Sterling JPY, as you see here, we tested the 200 moving average on the 4-hour, been tested as dynamic support previously and worked nice. And on the daily, I was expecting this market to reach all the way to this support down here before we've got the move to the upside, but it seems like so far the 200 on the 4-hour did hold this market. But still, we still below this key resistance, so look for a possible bounce from that once again. Until we have a break above it, we will still be shorting this back down to these lows down here. So keep an eye on this structure up here to hold as possible resistance, especially that we now broke below previous structure. Yeah, this area up here gonna be an important level to watch for next week. This area up here, as you see. USD Mexican, what a nice trade for those who took the short-term trades and took profits. I had several positions, some of them are closed and one still open because I was expecting this to keep moving even higher. But again, as far as this support is holding this market, there is no reason to worry, because this market does not move very smooth. If we look left, we see that we do most of the time have deep corrections. Even on the way up here, we had always some kind of deep corrections before the continuation. So if you want to trade such a market, you need to give it a room to breathe. As you see, a push to the upside, to then a deep correction, another push up, deep correction before it continues, and it keep doing so all the time. Here we had the same scenario. Here we have also very deep correction before it went. So if you're gonna trade this such a market, you should not move your stop loss very fast. It is a very volatile one, and you should give it room. Yeah. What's not good here, the only thing I don't like right now, that we do have this badass head and shoulder happening here, but the pattern is still not confirmed, since the neckline is clear. That neckline is down here, and if we break below this, then the idea is over to go long, and we should wait for another push above this monthly pivot point before we consider the continuation. All in all, I still have one open position, and having my stops below here, because my target on that one is something like this. Yeah, I'm expecting this move to happen. So the short-term trades are closed, and I still have this one. If I survive this last entry, and this head and shoulder happen to be a bad head and shoulder that won't break the neckline, then I would be very happy to keep holding this position for a longer term. If the break happened, then that would mean we are going back to inside this range we had here, and yet again keep consolidating, or maybe continue to the downside. Yeah, so it all depends how the market will open tonight, and if we're gonna break this neckline. Hopefully not, we'll see. USD Singapore dollar, we had also this idea. We've got the first trade nicely, and I did publish that on both on YouTube and on Facebook, this retest continuation. We broke the neckline, and now we had another push, and the question is if we're gonna keep pushing lower. I think this market may at least give us another push lower toward the monthly pivot point, especially if the Dixie does that correction I mentioned earlier. As you see, we had a pretty strong bounce from this resistance level at monthly R1 and previous structure. We broke the trend line, we did a retest, we failed to make a new high, pushed lower, we failed again to make a new high. So I think we have a possibility to reach monthly pivot, or even lower if we breaks below these lows down here. There is a possibility for more downside. Right now it is trapping everyone, as you see, when the market start making these triangles. Most of the time that is to trap sellers, buyers inside the triangles before the real moves happen. In any case, this is not a good entry level right now. We are mid-range, so you either wait for another retest for this level, or wait for the if it reaches the monthly pivot point to see if we're gonna get a bounce or if we're gonna break. If the break happen, then there is a big chance for a longer term continuation on this one to the downside, continuing this daily move. What could also happen, something that I'm thinking of, if the dollar to continue be strong longer term, which I expect, is maybe this. Yeah, it is too early to call it a head and shoulder, absolutely, but why not have that plan as well? If this market push toward down this monthly pivot point and start pushing higher, there is a possibility for this inverted head and shoulder. The neckline would be at key resistance, and that need to be broken to confirm the pattern. So yeah, as an idea, keep that in mind. It might happen. And for the Dow, as I said last week and the week before and the week before that, we're still in a bullish market. Do not fight it. I know it is crazy. There is almost no reason for this bullish move. The market is in a very high greed mode, I would say, for no real reason. The only reasons we have right now is a bit positive talk about the trade war, and that is it. Actually, not much of economic numbers behind this move. So the main thing is there's no need to guess anything. We have the chart ahead of us here. It is a strong on the weekly, almost every single week been bullish since we had this strong drop to the downside in December. Okay, if we look on the daily, it is also a bullish structure, higher highs and higher lows. And whatever we think about the market conditions and this should not be happening, etc., you could not keep fighting this and trying to short it, because all you're gonna have this short-term trades and then you're missing the nice moves. There is still no change in the behavior here. If we look left here, on the way down, you could see it, total control of the bears. The push to the upside was very, very shallow. The candles was not as big. And here to the upside, we see the opposite. Every single push here is very strong from the bulls, and we should be trading the upside to really catch those huge trades that been happening, as this one on Friday. I mean, look how nice this one is. I published this idea in the room that look for retest and continuation, and that was an amazing trade to the upside. Now we reached monthly R1, which is usually trouble, but still, as far as there is no sign of real bearish moves, this will continue. And I think the market objective is at the end to reach these highs up here, and why not the all-time high as well, now when we are already trading in this area. So keep an eye here. We have some troubles on the way, but this is still a bullish market and there is no need to fight it. Short term, if this will do some correction, keep following this trend line on the 4 hour as first. That need to be broken for more downside, or at least that we break one structure. As for now, we're still holding all structure is holding well. So for next week, we should be looking for a retest of this broken structure yet again. Look for that retest and maybe another continuation. Keep going long, keep buying dips. As for now, nothing has changed. Bulls still in control. Footsie, same here. We broke the trend line, we broke structure, we retest the structure and we keep pushing. Last week we also broke previous highs here, and right now actually there is not much on the way of a structure more than this. Otherwise there is no structure on the way until we reach these highs. Other things on the charts is of course the 200 moving average on the daily that may give us a bounce to the downside. We have monthly R2, so this market will not just keep pushing in one leg, but what's important, we now holding above this structure, so we should keep going here on lower time frames, looking for this structure. As far as the market keep hovering here, maybe going consolidating, we should be buying the lows in anticipation for maybe the continuation of this move. If we trade back below this, back below these lows here, then there is a possibility that we do a deeper correction. But as far as we're holding above, keep buying the lows, anticipating a continuation, okay? Do not guess that the market will reverse if it does not showing you that it is really reversing. One thing to keep in mind that we do have a bearish divergence on the 4 hour, but that is not enough alone to say that we're gonna short this market. Everything here is bullish, so there is no need to do something else. And for the DAX, that one was tricky last week. Since here on the weekly, look how nice it ended. But on the daily, what happened last week that we broke actually previous structure here. We broke this low and this low, and my anticipation was now we broke, look for retest and continuation for another leg down here before maybe a bounce again. But what happened was, we've got the retest, we got Thursday a bearish day, so it was a nice signal here, bearish engulfing happening on the retest and at previous structure. But Friday was crazy with those news coming from China was good news and stuff like that, and everyone started buying stocks and equities. So we've got the push to the downside as expected from this level, and we've got another retest toward this level before the continuation. Now the neckline is broken, and we still did not test previous highs, so keep an eye on this structure here. We may end up going sideways here, but if that got broken, if we break above previous highs, then we should keep following, buying the dips, and keep following this move to the upside. Okay, so first off, see this as resistance, see this as a possible level to get a bounce, at least maybe to retest of this neckline before any continuation, because the RSI need to move a little bit lower once again, yeah, on this market. And yeah, it seems like that was the last one. We are back at the Dixie, and as usual, guys, you have the possibility now to ask questions, or if you have any charts you want me to look at. So yeah, a couple of minutes for your questions. If you have any, please let me know in the chat. And once again, do not forget to hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe. For those of you who are interested in joining our mentoring and trading course, the registration is now open. The next course will start March 2019, so that is next month. The registration just started, so I still have all 10 seats left, and if you have any questions, let me know. Right now, if you use the coupon code Facebook, you will get an offer of $200. So instead of $899, you will get this course for $699. Amazing course, helped a lot of traders that been struggling, and all you need to do, go to the testimonials and see what my student, those who took the course, are saying about it. Here is Mr. Liam. He's with us in the chat, going live right now, so you can ask him directly. But you will be amazed how much you're missing on the market by not taking the right decision. So now it is the time, if any of you is really willing to take their trading to the next level. Let's see, do we have any questions? What is your win-loss ratio? We said that Arthur maybe wasn't here, but it is between 55 to 60%. Stefan want me to look at sterling New Zealand. Let's take a look at that. Well, Stefan, we just broke below previous low here, and when such a thing happen, I usually keep looking for a continuation. So we have broken this structure now nicely. We have tried to push higher. Again, it didn't work well. So my next guess here would be, if we do a retest toward this structure here, to look for a possible sell from that area. I would go with a stop loss. If you get signals, your entry reasons here, I would say stop loss somewhere above this previous high. Sorry, the entry would be here. So stop loss above the 200 moving average. This is sterling New Zealand. It's moved a lot, so you need to give it some room. First target, I would say previous lows down here, and if that broken, then you see that we do have a lot more room to the downside. But something like this depend when the rejection gonna happen, if it gonna happen. Okay, you're welcome, Zafar, you're welcome. Hello, Simon. you guys watching together, nice. The candlestick patterns I use most, I would say bearish engulfing, shooting star formation, evening star formation. I like it a lot, as this one here. And of course, morning star formation as well. But it doesn't matter if you have the candlestick formation and you do not have the structure level. So what's important for me first, buddy, is I want to see that formation happening at my level of interest. So as we have, like, let's say we have this here, we broke this neckline, we pushed all the way down, and I want to sell the retest. That candlestick pattern, let's say this bearish engulfing or this bearish engulfing, need to happen at my pre-planned level. Otherwise it is a worthless pattern. Yeah, I would not go for the pattern just because of the pattern, because here you had a bullish engulfing in the wrong place. Yeah, bullish engulfing against resistance. Here you have another bullish engulfing that didn't work nice, as you see. So the patterns need to happen at the structure levels. But I would say bearish engulfing or bullish engulfing, those are my most favorite patterns. You're welcome, Arthur. You're welcome. I hope you enjoyed this session. Yeah, any other questions, guys? What interesting? Yeah, I did answer that already, and I don't see any other questions. So yeah, guys, then let's call it a day. Thanks a lot, my lovely traders. See you in our trading room. The rest of you, see you surely next week in this at the same time as today. So thanks a lot, and bye bye.